right, Winning Time Season 2, Episode 5 is here. We were told it was going to be a great one, and it certainly delivered. Great to be back talking about it all. I think I'll tune in as you guys do. Continue to like, rate, review, subscribe, comment, share. Have you so low? Appreciate it all. Shout out to Breadwinner Zinc. Shout out to Vital. All the brands that have been showing love to us recently. That we tuned into it all. We just had Jeff Perlman on, author of Showtime, who the Winning Time show is based off of, and he told us about how great of an episode this was going to be, and definitely delivered as I noted there. Definitely enjoyed all that went down. Also appreciate his appearance, so we'll get more into it in a moment. And yeah, just all around a great episode. I won't dive too far into it myself just yet. I pass it to you, Alec. What did you think of this 5th episode that we got today of Winning Time?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought there was some show-stopping scenes throughout, some very tense moments between characters throughout, and we finally got the emergence of a character that I've been saying I've wanted to see more of too. So I was very, very pleased with this episode.
Definitely agree with you there. Following the last episode, we saw the buildup of the battle between Magic versus Paul Westhead there. I made the whole wire reference, come with the king, you best not miss. Paul tried to go out and kind of pin the team against Magic. He tried to kind of take away Magic's flair and style and all of that, and tried to implement him into his fall system rather than adjusting to who Magic was. And they were not getting along and could not get on the same page. The team was feeling a little bit of a way about it as well. And everyone was being real rattled by how Paul, who had taken full control of the reins, or at least was trying to take full control of the reins, was at this point, as we mentioned last episode, now beginning to fall on his own sword as the end was coming near as a result of his actions and not trying to really embrace Magic and who he was. So definitely a wild thing that we witnessed there. It led to a ultimate moment that we saw, which became one or the other. Who you gonna decide? It's like Magic stopped being. It was all the smiles stopped for a moment. He went to Jerry Buss like, yo, we're not gonna keep doing this. I can't keep playing this way. This trade was not some bluff. Like I'm out of here if you're not gonna adjust to let me play my game and make me keep playing with Paul. And yeah, it bubbled into a grand moment, which resulted in Jerry leaning into his player and deciding to stick with Magic and giving Paul the boot. What do you think about how Paul finally got kicked out of the forum there?
Yeah, I think Westhead kind of got caught up in, I guess, the trend of how the NBA had gone for so many years, where the coaches were more of the power players.
Sure.
And the coaches had more of a say with the front office. And I mean, he recognized that Magic had an in with Dr. Buss. Like, they clearly had a closer relationship than most player GMs do, or player owners do. But he still, even amongst that, was thinking, oh, like, Magic's just showing his petulance. He's not going to get his way. It's and he got a rude awakening in that firing from Dr. Buss. But I do think Westhead was right, though. Like, it wasn't just like Jerry's decision. Like, Magic clearly forced his hand.
Correct.
Because if he didn't make that move, Magic was not going to play for him anymore. He made that very clear. And he didn't back down from that point either. So it was fun to see like that dynamic play out on screen, because we see that a lot nowadays in the current NBA. But to see it kind of play out on screen in the 80s, that was a cool dynamic to see there.
We had interesting topic the other day talking about LeBron and KD and their player empowerment and how they affected the league. Seeing go back to that time and seeing how Magic took control of his situation, definitely was wild to see. Again, he was in a way empowered to do so, though, as you kind of mentioned. He had the extensions, he got the 25-year deal. Jerry kept looking at him like his son, or however you want to describe it. He tried to establish this real close bond, this partnership, how they want to continue to describe it. So the power was clearly given to Magic, and he finally exerted it to a full degree, which led to Paul getting canned there. So, yeah, definitely a sad thing for him. But the show goes on, and the Lakers had to adjust and on the fly figure it out. Jerry didn't really fully want to do that. He's like, yo, I'm tired of firing coaches. I thought I found a good one. This is a guy that had won games for us, and even through all
they were like on a 5-game win streak or whatever.
They were still on a 5-game win streak. Like, things technically were still getting the job done. But there was so much stress and lack of chemistry in the building that it just couldn't continue to go on past that point. So it led to where they are. So it led to a scramble. Paul got canned. They had to figure out what was next, and it led to an all-time great a scene here that we got of this press conference of, hey, we're going to just go out there and figure out who's next, and I don't fully have it figured out yet. This isn't the era where we have the interim coach tag figured out just yet, so Jerry Buss is out there like, we're going to have these guys on the sideline. He's not actually the coach, but he is the coach, but he's not the coach. All kinds of stuff. And they tried to, they alluded to Pat eventually becoming the head coach, but also wanted to keep Jerry West in the fold himself. He didn't really want to embrace that and kept trying to like push back, like, no, I'll be there, but not really. It's his. And yeah, it definitely was hilarious how that all played out. What do you think about the press conference where they announced that Pat would somewhat be taking the helm there?
Well, yeah, first off, a couple of moments right before that leading up to it that made me laugh. Or one, like them wanting Jerry West to take over as head coach and him being like, fuck no. Like, no, I've done this already. I hated being a coach already. Like, it made me pull my hair out. I'm not doing this again.
Flashbacks of when he was playing versus the Celtics and all that kind of stuff all those years. And that is true. Great point.
He's like, I'm not getting my blood pressure up for this again.
Correct.
And then Riley thinking that he's fired. Him and Westhead kind of having this talk afterwards, like, oh, like we gave it our best shot kind of thing. And he really thought he was gone too with them because he was assistant. And then him fighting out, they're walking him down the tunnel.
That's a good point too. Paul was like, yeah, we're going down, man.
We did our best, man. Yeah.
But excuse me. They ain't called me yet. Hold on.
French now? Yeah. No, and then that moment where like Riley realizes that like he's not done and he starts getting giddy, and then Jerry West is like, don't jack me off already.
Oh yeah. Don't jack me off this yet.
I was dying, man.
Yeah, they did that. They did a great job with that. As you see in this picture, you can kind of see Pat in the background there, like, I don't know what he's gonna say. I don't know what I'm gonna say. There's this complete stress and nerves on display. In this moment as they are thrown into the pedestal, literally, to announce who would be the coach. And the moments leading up to that definitely were great. Seeing how Pat, had flashbacks of his father and things of that moment and things of that nature. Yeah, all of that played. They did a great job with it. And it led to this, which what was grand as well. So all of that was real fun.
I had on there that like this whole press conference was comical. Like Buss went up there with no plan at all, bro. Like he was just like kind of winging it, had no idea what they're gonna do in the future. Just like, like he's a coach, but he's not the coach, but they're kind of co-coaches.
They were like, "Are you coaching?" They're like, "Jared, so you're coaching?" He's like, "I'm coaching with and for."
Coaching offense. They're like,
I'm an offensive coach. And so like, she's a coach. So like, no, with and for. Like he tried to make that like real like clear. Like I'm not. It's not me.
Exactly. But we got our Jeff Pearlman cameo. Him asking Dr. Buss like, you can have both coaches doing the press conference. Like who's making the starting lineups or whatever. But it was nice to see our now friend Jeff Pearlman
correct
showing his acting chops as well. But yeah, that whole scene was great. Yeah.
If Jeff tunes in, he might notice that album in the background. I'll save a little more deep dive of that until he comes back on. But yeah, definitely a great moment from him, and that whole press conference was a fantastic scene. I love at the end how Pat kind of claimed the situation there and made some good quotes. Sometimes it takes a left foot to get you going and all kind of stuff like that they mentioned, and they a joke about keep combing your hair that all funny like that. Keep going forward and all that. And he laughed it off and made good jokes and handled it all real well and showed poise in the midst of a chaotic situation, which should lead to great next steps. But we saw following there as Pat does become the coach that it started off a little bit shaky. Like he seemed like the guy, but there were a lot of people that were not fond of the moment. A lot of people turned on the Lakers in that moment as well. Folks were not fond of Jerry Buss at that time. Who were not fond of Magic and called him the coach killer. And the only magic he was doing was making coaches disappear and all that kind of stuff. And it was wild how that team was treated. Yeah. And then also to the point we talked about Paul in the midst of all the dismay, the team was winning. Now in this new chaos is going on of trying to integrate this new coach. The team's losing now. Like they want to bring Pat in and keep the chip sailing. He's trying to implement just getting back to their old ways, and it's not working as grand as he had thought so far. And almost led them to look for another coach in that moment yet again. Like Jerry was stressed. Like, yo, we can't. I'm not doing another coach. Like we got to get this figured out. We think about the next steps that came after Pat did become the head coach.
Yeah, I guess it's not surprising to hear like that fans were upset because, like we said, they were on a 5-game winning streak. They won the finals like I guess a year and a half previous.
Mm-hmm.
And Westhead was the coach when they won that final. So like
Correct.
To fans outside perspective, they didn't have all the social media and have all of what's going on behind the scenes and that kind of thing. They just see this is a coach that led us to a championship already, and we're on a win streak right now, playing decently well. Why would we get rid of this coach? I can understand from the outside perspective, but it made sense from the inside why they made the move. But I couldn't help but think about LeBron James just when they were talking about Magic, like being the spoiled brat player, getting the coach fired. Like it immediately made me think of LeBron, like getting David Blatt fired to bring in Ty Lue, with Cleveland and that kind of thing. I'm like, this stuff is still happening, and the reactions are similar to this day. Yeah.
History repeats itself. That's just how it goes. So there definitely were some similarities there. Magic, I don't want to say you obviously feel it more now because social media is very much heavy and it's in your phone. But it almost seemed like the weight of that time was it was just as much. It seemed like, at least it seemed, for just like the weight of the words people were saying, getting booed in the stadiums all the time. Obviously, there's a heightened moment today. There's heightened times today where this social media plays its part, and now you're checking your phone and seeing it. But to be back then, every channel you turn to, everybody's complaining. $25 million crybaby. You go out, you walk in the stadium, and you used to hearing roars of the stadium cheering your name. Now your own squad is booing you, even if you had success. Like that definitely still weighed a ton. Folks often now, as we are in this new era, look back and try to downplay how I guess the impact of media and things, and how the outside noise may not have been as loud, but clearly it still took its toll during that time, and was interesting to see how they all handled it. We got an interesting moment in the midst of all of that, as we kind of bounced around the episode, of Jerry Buss in the midst of that time, trying to handle all the pressure, all the words that are being thrown at him, and sitting at home and was mad at the articles that are being thrown his way, and was reading the article from, I forgot who it was, but it was I think it was the LA Times reporter, and he was just pissed about it all, and Honey had to calm him down, and he was like, "Yo, it's my name. Like, this guy's messing with my name. It reminded me a lot."
Put some respect on my name.
Put some respect on my name. Also, again, I was on my Wire binge recently, so I see the Wire. But there was a great moment at the end of the Wire where Marlo, who was a key figure in the show, was like, "My name is my name. Like, don't play with it. That's the one thing I got. Like, don't mess with me." And Jerry Buss definitely felt the same way. Like, these people, I was very respected and revered by these folks for a long while, and now my city and this grand forum that I built up for this city, all the people that are within it are turning against me. So, tough times for them, and in all, what do you think just about the handling of, again, as I mentioned before, just the next steps of what's going on with these Lakers?
Yeah, it was interesting to see, because this was like kind of the first time where Magic and Buss didn't see eye to eye. Like they had real butting of heads and contentiousness.
Correct.
And it clearly did like weigh a toll on Dr. Buss, as you said. He was definitely stressed in his Speedo on his waterbed. He was reading through all the newspaper clippings, and it wasn't sitting right with him, as you mentioned. So it was interesting to see, I guess, because he was like, to this point, we've seen him like as the visionary, seen him kind of be steps ahead of other owners, other NBA franchises. But now this is a point where for him, it might have felt like the house was on fire, like the house is burning, and how do I put it out for good?
Sure. Yeah.
So it was interesting to see him like kind of navigate through that, and how, while he had been a visionary to this point, like he didn't necessarily see everything ahead of him. Like he didn't see Riley as the guy necessarily, but he wanted the stability. Like it came down to, I want stability, and I don't want to fire another coach. And like I want someone that the guys like trust and respect. And Riley himself struggles with getting the players' respect, and that's what we'll transition to next, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So early on, he was trying too much to be a player's coach. He was letting everybody play their game. He was just about revitalizing Showtime. It seemed that he didn't fully show it on the court, but it seemed like early on he was like that first speech he gave when you came to the locker room, just about letting the guys play. And Magic was like, "Oh, we back!" Like, playing free and all that, integrating Rambus into the lineup and all that kind of stuff. He was trying to lightly make some shifts. But eventually, as you kind of see in his face here in this picture, eventually put his fist down and was like, all right, I tried to be nice with y'all. I tried to be cool. And then he finally said enough's enough. All these guys tried to take advantage of him. They all tried to backdoor each other, and we're all sending a little, hey, Kareem ain't really doing his job right now. And Magic ain't really, can you help me out here? And but was like, hey, there's some strippers at the club that we might want to go. So
White boy was not focused on the game at all.
No, on the game. Still the 80s now. Let's not forget where we are. So there's still a couple that were like, hey, all this stuff, I ain't stressed about that.
I heard the clubs are popping in DC.
Yeah, the clubs though. And yeah, it led to a great moment where Pat finally put his fist down, so enough's enough with all this stuff. Punched the chalkboard there, and I believe they said he possibly broke his hand. And just went at his team like, yo, all this backdoor stuff, all this talking behind all these each other's back, and the lack of unity. Well, we're done with all of that. If you got something to say to each other's faces. And he went a whole little quick like rant. He was going up everybody like, Magic,
flaming you.
He was flaming. I was like, yo, Kareem, I want to hear Kareem.
He said they're asking when you go retire. I said 2 months ago.
I was like, oh God, flamed his ass. Do you think that was needed from Pat to get these guys back on track, or was he doing too much in that moment?
No, absolutely. Yeah, they absolutely needed that. I think Magic definitely like responded to it how you would want your leader and your superstar to. Like he kind of like lit the fire underneath them, and that's the response he's seeking to elicit. Like he's not just flaming them just to flame them. Like he's basically putting them all on the same level. Like we're not necessarily greater than any of you other men. Like we're all men here. We can all respect each other and confront each other man to man.
Correct.
And yeah, I think that's absolutely what the team needed, and absolutely what he needed to garner the respect from his players. He had that moment where he was like reflecting on, as you mentioned, his dad and the man he was. He was talking with, that was his wife, correct? That he was talking with?
So. Correct.
Yeah. And they kind of had a back and forth about how he can like garner the respect of his team and what's the right approach, and maybe yelling and being confrontational isn't necessarily the way like his dad was. But he was like, it got the job done. Like, it made him feared, and like that's the kind of like respect that he kind of wanted to have from his team. So that was a cool moment, I guess, to see him struggling with that internally and kind of becoming that, as I said, the Godfather has arrived, becoming that Godfather figure, and finally letting loose and earning that respect. That was, I felt like he stole the show in that scene.
That was a fantastic performance. Agent Brody was doing a great job as Pat Riley there, and definitely loved that. Loved how he lit the signal for that moment too. Like, all right, you know what? I keep trying to be nice and keep trying to hide who I am. This is who I am. I smoke cigs. I talk my shit. I gotta say what I gotta say. I've been trying to be nice with y'all, but enough's enough. I'm gonna be who I am. Y'all gonna be who you are. We're gonna work this out, as you said, as men. And we don't get this job done because this team.
He said McAdoo, you're out. Rambus said.
Yeah, Rambus like, hey, all those mess. Let's get to work now. Let's get to work. So they brought the dogs in and all that kind of stuff, and really stepped up to the plate and definitely enjoyed that. Looking forward to what all is next there. We saw some moments there, though it was in the midst of the turmoil or the losses there, as I joked about. But I don't know, it fully wasn't the exact moment, but we got kind of a teaser. I joked about. I wanted the Pat Riley shot of him in the huddle. We kind of got a shot like that this episode of him alongside Magic and Kareem and those guys, and definitely enjoyed that. And looking forward to a lot more what's going on there. Then as the episode wrapped up, we saw that we've been I guess in the background of all of this is always for the Lakers in this time, the Celtics, what's going on with them. and this is always supposed to be building up to a rematch or a final meetup between the Lakers and Celtics in the finals. And Boston, being Boston, just couldn't get the job done. Blew it to the Sixers, getting us a rematch with Philly, but not getting us the Magic and Bird matchup in the finals that we all been hoping for. And definitely enjoyed how that was acted out. We saw in the end that something that we've seen that played out back then that has carried on through ever since the whole BLA chants that went on from there. It was kind of whack how they did that. Not gonna lie, it was great. Like, it was a great scene, but you don't lose to the team and then cheer to the other squad.
Hey man, that's how much I hate the Lakers, man.
Boston's some losers, dude. Gotta go sit somewhere, beat LA chats, beat Philly first. My God, oh my goodness. But definitely enjoyed that. And then we got the very final scene, and I'll flash it real quick. I don't want to get in trouble with the Spurs and all that, but we got the fuck Boston at the end from the whole team. Definitely enjoyed how that all went down, and definitely fun. Talk about how the episode ended and what we are continuing to build into with this season.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool ending. The transition from the beat LA to the F Boston chant from the team at the end.
Yeah.
Like, you could see like the disappointment in the players' faces when they see that the Celtics is going to lose. Like, they really wanted them. Like,
of course,
they want to beat Boston. It's not
after all that, it would have been perfect to have Boston in that finals, but it is what it is.
Yeah. But I thought that was a cool moment to wrap it up for sure. I'm excited to see the next steps that we get in these. We only got 2 episodes left, actually. It's going to be wrapping up fairly soon, and hopefully not for good. Hopefully we're going to get a third season green lit. But I'm excited that we finally got the full emergence of the Godfather, and we got Showtime Lakers back kind of again, and we get to fully dive into that era. So
the Godfather definitely deserves to be seen in full. These actors are doing a great job. Adrian Brody, I would love to see more of him continue. We talked about with Jeff Perlman how the show needs to go on. So though we only have a couple episodes left in this season, definitely hope you guys continue to tune into this so we can continue to hit the numbers it needs to have a 3rd and 4th season as they had intended originally for this show to do. So I'm looking forward to all that is next here. Love the ending. They didn't give a preview for the next one, so I'm not sure where it's going to go.
I'm surprised.
Where would you like it to go next? In this season, excuse me.
I mean, definitely would like to see the Lakers Boston series, which I believe we will. Like, it started off with was that 85 finals in that very first scene. So I hope that we would finish this season with that classic moment where I believe it's Kurt Rambis gets completely body slammed to the floor and everything. I want to see that game, that moment. I think they showed that in the trailers before. But just the Lakers Boston rivalry, because we've gotten the Bird story and more of that. We haven't seen a whole lot of the Celtics beyond Larry Bird and Auerbach. So seeing more of the Lakers Celtics rivalry and some more gameplay between them two.
Definitely love to see more of that. I think Jeff even may have alluded to it that this season was to end in 1984. We got to flash forward to that earlier on in the season of them leaving the locker room, leaving the Boston arena and all that after Game 1. I think that was a couple episodes ago. So we may fast forward to that. I can see them zooming past this series with the Sixers there and speaking to the next one with the Celtics and all of that. So definitely excited for it. I think as they developed Larry Bird's character, I think maybe even getting a next episode, getting a little glimpse of him on the opposite side. Like, we just watched them go through all this chaos and we couldn't get to there ourselves, and they were able to get through all that and make it a little flash into that would be nice and all that kind of stuff. And definitely excited for all that's on the way. Before even getting more into things I'd like to see as well, another thing also that's on my mind that I didn't want to forget. I can't find a picture of it, but we got a little glimpse, and we know to this day they have a great relationship. Magic and Jeannie had a moment as Jeannie went to go see her father in the locker room in his office, and he wasn't there, and Magic was there and had a little talk, and we had to see how that bond really got to start up, and I think it definitely was a great moment. What do you think about, I guess, the not the origin, but seeing Magic and Jeannie's relationship continuing to strengthen in that time?
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was a cool moment. I was like surprised, and I think Magic was surprised in that scene to hear her say like, "You're my hero." Like what? Like I didn't like do anything for you
Right.
necessarily, but
Right.
but she explained like it was the fact that he stood up to her dad and didn't back down from it,
Correct.
even with him trying to whatever make him feel bad or whatever about standing up to him. He still like held his ground, and she
Mhm.
respected that. And I think that that like makes sense along the lines of like what we know her to be like as an owner, as a businesswoman, like that she would respect Magic for doing that. Like we've seen the ambition that she has, we've seen how much she wants it, but her dad isn't like fully willing to have her step into that role at this point yet. So I you can understand why like she would view Magic in that light, like as a hero, because he was able to do something that she hasn't fully been able to do yet.
Correct. Yeah, love to see how she continues to fight for her positioning and continues to go back at issues that she doesn't agree with, and just how she continues to move in this. I really that's one of the side stories that I do appreciate, and looking forward to see how it continues to play out. So looking forward to that. Quick little note side to that, something that we skipped over. I guess while we're talking about kids in a way, we got going back a funny moment. I just came to mind when Paul was about to get fired. He went and go sat with,
All right.
with his family.
Yeah.
He had dinner somewhere, and his daughter was like, "Yo, you don't get fired, bro. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?"
Like you don't see the writing on the wall, man. Like,
He was like, "No, I'm good." She's like, "No, you quit
like
playing."
literally everybody's talking about this. No.
Yeah, it's like this is a rap, fam. I'm like, what you want me? Like, come on. So yeah, Jeff alluded to it. That just the little details of the show. There are moments like that that really stand out, and stuff like that definitely caught my attention, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, again, just excited for all things winning time. I mentioned a moment ago we didn't get a flash forward. We talked about where it could go, and we're other side storylines and things that I already kind of alluded to. Is there anything else that you feel like hasn't been addressed enough that you want to see more? Maybe not even in these next 2 episodes, but down the line, if they could, as more seasons go on, as we hope, that you want to see expanded on.
Well, something that actually was in this episode that we didn't touch on, that I guess like to see explored more, was that conversation that Kareem had with Dr. Buzz. Like I think they were like a skating rink or whatever, and
Right.
he basically was like laying it out there that I don't really like respect you as a businessman. Like I don't respect like your business practices, and like you kind of like took advantage of a young naive Magic with the 25-year deal and all that. And Dr. Buss was like, I'm gonna give you 2.5 million, like I'm gonna make you the richest player.
Like, no,
And he's
no,
like, that's not what it's about, fam.
you
Yeah.
don't understand.
Yeah. It's like it's not about the money. Like it's not about the money. Like I'm good.
Right.
But that was interesting, like to hear. 'Cause I feel like it's kind of like gone back and forth, like as far as the competing wishes of the star players, like Magic and Kareem. Like while Kareem is content, Magic isn't. And when Magic is content, Kareem isn't, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like they're still playing and they can still play winning basketball, but
Right.
they still kind of have this like tete-a-tete where like they kind of aren't really fully on the same page.
Correct.
Like he was like, "You fired my coach." Like Westhead
Yeah.
was my guy, kind of thing, and
Yeah.
he clearly wasn't Magic's. So I'm interested, I guess, to explore how that dynamic was between like Kareem and Bus. Because I mean, I know they go on to win more,
Right.
but like how I guess that gets smoothed out, whether it does get smoothed out or whether he just kept it professional. And but yeah, I'd be interested to see that relationship.
Yeah, as we kind of mentioned before in one of our reviews, it feels like Kareem is more of a side character when he should really be more pivotal to how things are playing out. He does have his scenes where he does pop up and commands attention, but he's kind of they treat him like truly like the wise old head in the background, like he's just there, and they'll sometimes refer to him and give him his moments, but they don't give him the full attention that he should deserve, in my opinion. So yeah, definitely like to see more of Kareem. And yeah, I thought that talk he had with Jerry was pivotal. It was like, you think I envy you? Like I don't envy him. Like I see how you're kind of holding him in a way like deals like this. And understanding the market and how things adjust over time.
Right.
Him being the visionary that he was, I will see that expanding more as the season goes on. So yeah, a lot of good stuff here to get into. Definitely another great episode. Another great really moment yet again. This show is keen to deliver. I mean, a moment where shows are there's, and with understandable reason, there's not a lot of other shows out right now, and folks trying to figure out just how to stay entertained. For those that may not be watching football or anything like that, as that gets going, there is great TV still going on with Winning Time that definitely deserves your attention. We hope that you continue to tune in. So I'm excited to continue to talk about this as this goes on. Hope we get more seasons of it going forward as we discuss. And yeah, just love what we're getting here. And glad to talk with folks that are even involved with the show as it goes on too. So yeah, that's all I had to say for today. Any other last comments on this episode before we go from here?
No, I'm looking forward to that penultimate episode, next episode. Yeah.
Guys, it should be a great time. Final question. Nothing to do with Winning Time. I got a draft right now with the second pick. Who should I take?
Second pick overall?
Time. Yeah.
I mean, I get probably between Jamar and
well, man. This is live. First pick took Austin Eckler, so I'm taking just.
Yeah, take Jettas. Yeah, take Jettas.
All right, so we're good. All right, so there. We'll have more football talk as things go on. Then we're going to talk about the NFL and what's going to be going on there. We'll talk a little bit about primetime, what's going on with Colorado there a little bit potentially. A lot of good things. I'm getting going. Football is finally here. Excited to get to it. Looking forward to all this on the way with that. And again, with Winning Time, I appreciate you all for tuning in as you guys do. Make sure you continue to like, rate, review, subscribe, comment, share. How you show love to all of this. We definitely appreciate it all. See you guys again next week, man. We out of here. Peace.
Deuces.
Austin Eckler.
Eckler, 1 overall. Okay.
Hey.
He's a good fantasy producer for sure, but
hey,
that's surprising. That's surprising.
Go LA.